Am I the asshole for not letting my dad see my dying sister? My beautiful baby sister lost her battle with cancer last Saturday. She was truly one of the most kind-hearted, genuine people I have ever met in my 27 years. I was 10 years old when she was born, and I still remember the day like it was yesterday. My parents were married for many years, and 5 years ago, it was uncovered that my dad had gotten a much younger coworker pregnant and my mom divorced him. They had been together since they were teenagers, and it was really hard on the family. My dad claimed that he loved my mom but was not in love with her. I have another sister and brother who struggled, but no one took it worse than my baby sister, one who died. She went from being a daddy's girl and spending every evening with him to seeing him every other weekend. My dad begged to be in our lives, and his new wife begged us to forgive her and to meet their new daughter, but it was not something the three of us older siblings were comfortable with, and our ages allowed us to be less tied to a custody plan. I was over 18, so no custody plan for me. He told us he loved us and his relationship with our mom had nothing to do with us. He told us that his kids were who he loved most in the world. My dad ended up moving to another city when he realized that we were done with him. When my sister was diagnosed with late-stage cancer, he moved back immediately, but my sister didn't want to see him. When doctors said she wasn't going to make it, she was moved into a hospice center and was surrounded by the people she requested. My mom, her best friend, my sister and her husband, my brother, and my wife and I. My dad was informed of her health given that she is a minor and really wanted to see her in her last moments. He brought his wife and daughter for support, but left them outside. My sister didn't say that she wanted dad there, and I told my dad to get the hell away and let my sister die in peace. When she passed, we all broke down, but my father took it really hard. He was crying really hard, and so was wife, apologizing to us for taking dad away from our sister. Am I the asshole for not letting my dad see my sister when she was asleep anyways and let him say his goodbyes? Edit. She did not ask for him when she was awake. However, she was asleep for most of the time before she passed, and that is why we are conflicted. We could have let my dad see her and she would never have known. When she was able to speak, she said she didn't want to see our dad. Update. My siblings and mom all think my dad should be at the funeral, so I called him and let him know. I told him I don't know what it's like to be a parent and to be a parent who has lost a child. I told him I did what my sister wanted and all I have been trying to do for the past 5 years was do right for her, but that I was sorry he was in so much pain. He asked me if there is any hope for our relationship, and I said that life is short and I am willing to go to therapy with him. I told him there is no chance that his wife can be in my life and I am not sure about the kid yet. I told him I can't guarantee that our relationship will be fixed, but I am willing to try. I told him how my wife is expecting, and if treats my little daughter well then I will forgive him. I told him I cannot speak for my brother and sister, but I will see if they are also willing. Wow. This is way beyond Reddit's pay grade. No judgment here, just I'm so sorry for your loss. Take care of each other. Don't let anyone dictate to you how or how long you grieve, and you are never obligated to let anyone back into your life if you don't want them there. I cannot pass judgment here. I wanted to, but I can't. You just lost your sister, and your father just lost his daughter. There is little pain compared to a parent losing their child. I am glad that she was surrounded by the people she wanted to be surrounded by. I am so sorry for your loss. While your sister was able to make her wishes known, she was clear that she did not want to see your father. You did your best to protect those wishes. Not the asshole. I am very sorry for your loss. No judgment, everyone is grieving and in pain. You lost your sister, and he lost his child. Though he cheated and you can condemn him for that, it sounds like he really did love your sister. Don't seek validation or the opinions of strangers online. Take the time to grieve. You already told and showed him that you'll never forgive him to the point of refusing to let him see his daughter in her last moments. Do you really think having a bunch of people rip into him and say you were right help? Find another way to deal with your pain. Your father has suffered enough, has he not? You don't have to forgive him, but he has the right to grieve over your sister, just as you have the right to grieve over his daughter. Not the asshole your sister didn't want him in her life. He didn't understand the impact of destroying your family had on her and thought his actions just affected his ex-wife, when they deeply affected his children. You were true to your sister's wishes even in the end. I'm so sorry for your loss. What's done is done. If your decision is bothering you, I really think you should talk to a professional and not Reddit. NTA, she didn't want him there. That's her right. He needs to find a different way to say goodbye. Not the asshole, but I think he should be allowed at the funeral. Funerals are for the people who are grieving, not the person who died. I also lost my sister, so I feel for you. Am I the asshole for buying myself a new phone instead of getting my husband one? Throw away because I don't want this tied to my main. For some context, my husband and I have mostly separate finances. I'm the primary earner and I cover 85% of our rent and expenses. This is because half his income goes to child support and I want him to still have money for himself. I'm the kind of person who takes care of their electronics. I can keep a phone for 2-4 years with very little issue. Towards the end it might be scratched up a bit and have a wonky charge port, but in general still fully functional. Every single phone I've ever had, save one, has been replaced only when I felt ready for an upgrade, not because the previous one broke. My husband, on the other hand, somehow manages to destroy all of his phones within 1-2 years of purchase, closer to 1 than 2. In the last 5 years I've bought him 3 phones. Not high-end Moto G series, mostly because I use the same ones and they work well and may hold up well. Every time he gets a new phone I make sure he has screen protectors and a case and all that good stuff. But he'll take the case off for some reason or it'll break. The last one had these tabs that clipped a hard shell over a rubber shell and the tabs snapped off, and he won't replace it. Then he drops it and the screen protector cracks and is compromised, but he doesn't replace the screen protector either. So from there he ends up cracking the screen, and over the course of a couple months the screen gets worse and worse until it's unusable. His current phone is facing imminent death. The screen is half destroyed. Parts of it won't light. The charge port is barely working. It's a mess. I've been thinking about replacing my phone for a while now, but I was on the fence about it because my phone still works okay. There's a hairline crack in one corner and the charge port needs to be supported when it's plugged in, but neither is really affecting its function. I have the extra money right now for one phone. So I decided I'm going to buy myself a new phone as an upgrade and give him my old one until he can save up and research and buy himself a new one. To be honest, I'm tired of replacing things he's destroyed only for him to destroy them again a year later. At least this way he has a working phone in the interim. I was talking to a friend about this plan and they said I was being unfair and selfish, that if my phone works I should be replacing his first instead of worrying about replacing mine. Now I'm second-guessing myself. Am I the asshole? Edit. I wanted to add this because it came out when I was writing a comment and I think it's important to why I'm asking about whether or not I'm ta. My husband isn't the kind of guy who speaks up if something bothers him. He won't come in saying, "This isn't fair," or make a stink about it. So I get anxious that I'll inadvertently be unfair or rude or hurtful and that he'll suffer it without telling me. So when someone outside of our relationship says, "That's effed up," I want to take it into consideration because it's possible it actually is effed up and my husband is too much of a teddy bear to tell me. Not the asshole. But you should communicate with your husband that you are becoming resentful of buying him a new phone on such a frequent basis, and if he wants a new phone, he's going to have to purchase his own. Not the asshole. Your friend couldn't be more off the mark. Your husband is the selfish one here. If you're paying for 85% of the expenses, he should at least have a little money left over to buy himself a new phone. You're not his mother after all. Great plan, not the asshole. He's gonna trash the phone anyway. I don't think he would mind getting your old phone. And if he does, he could always, buy himself a new one. Not the asshole. Husband has his own money and is irresponsible, hard on electronics. This is not your fault or your problem, your friend is just wrong. Not the asshole for buying yourself a new phone with your own money. Hubby is a big boy and can buy his own phone when he busts it. Have a family member who does exactly the same thing and drives me nuts. But, if he wants to waste his money endlessly replacing phones busted due to his own carelessness, that's his choice. Not the asshole. My husband is a chronic phone ruiner. 2 old phones better than no phone. Maybe look into insurance since it may be more cost-effective. Not the asshole. You are being kind, working with him, despite his challenges with finances. You are allowed to be good to yourself. You will be giving him a fresh phone. If he has a problem with that, he can save up. NTA. It's time for your husband to buy his own things. Perhaps after he's had to replace it a few times he'll do better at taking care of it. Perhaps not. Either way, it will be his problem, not yours. Am I the asshole for telling my child that the Queen lives on benefits? My children attend a prestigious public school, one which has historically welcomed lesser royals and had connections in those circles. In my family, we are anti-royalist. Don't see the need for them. Abolish the Monarchy movement has many fans in our house. For their PHSE lessons, they were learning about the welfare state and how people abuse it. Insert eye roll. They were asked to write a small essay about how the welfare state is bad, basically. We have worked very hard to ensure our kids aren't classist and/or hate people who are worse off than them. We've taught them they have what they have because of luck, nothing else. They could have easily been born to poorer parents than wealthier ones. My daughter didn't know how to write that essay without perpetuating classist tropes. My husband, jokingly, suggested she writes about the biggest, benefit scrounges of all, the royal family. Well, she didn't take as the joke, not really, he meant it as and wrote about it. She's at an age where we don't really check homework unless asked, it's a major piece so we didn't follow up. The school contacted us asking for an urgent meeting. We went and met with her teacher, head of year and head teacher equals this is serious. We thought something big had happened but when they told us about the essay and let us read it, my husband and I kinda laughed it off and evidently failed to show sufficient rage for the school. They basically accused her of heresy and treason. They wanted to put her on internal exclusion and want her to write a letter apologizing and withdrawing. We refused both on her behalf. Having read her letter, it was factually accurate in its claims so there was nothing to apologize for. Its only crime is being anti-royalist in a royal sycophant environment. They said if we won't let them punish her, they'll have to ask us to withdraw her from the school. We refused that, too. We pay her fees on time, she has good grades, her friends are there and isn't a problem child in the slightest. The school said threatened us further but we stood firm that they have no grounds to kick her out and we weren't leaving. We said if she so much as suspects her teachers of treating her differently hereafter, we'll be lodging a formal complaint of bullying. They are still demanding an apology and have tried to get our daughter to apologize behind our backs. We have banned her from doing it because she's done nothing wrong and she shouldn't be punished for being an independent thinker. She wants to apologize because she hates her teachers being mad at her and wants this behind her. We are trying to make this a learning moment that going against the status quo isn't always easy but standing your ground, for a just cause, leaves you better off. It is only for her sake that I think, we, might be ta. Should we give in when we're not wrong and let her apologize for the sake of peace? TLDR. Our daughter wrote a critical piece on the royal family and her school wants to punish her for it. You are the asshole. I was with you right up till the end. You should allow your child to apologize if that is what she wants to do. At this point you are conscripting her into your anti-royalist position. The stress you are causing her at school is not justified. If you want to stand on principle then you should have withdrawn her from the school. You are the asshole. Not because you're wrong, your opinion is yours and it's fair. However, you are grandstanding and using your daughter as a pawn to further your opinions. I understand she feels that way too. However, you should counsel her, but let her choose her own path forward. A good fair counsel, but forcing her to stand her ground when she doesn't want to, at the cost of friends and relationships, is cruel. Not the asshole. They are scroungers. However, if you didn't want them to become classist, why send them to such a school? You are the asshole for not even trying to make this work of fiction believable. Didn't happen. Does not meet the definition of either heresy or treason. If real, you are the asshole. If you really hated everything upper class you wouldn't be sending your daughter to that school. Though, good to know you and your husband don't work hard, it was all luck. That explains why you have all the free time for this stuff. You are the asshole. You are using your daughter to make a point, which crosses into asshole territory when the child is negatively impacted. Your insistence is resulting in the teachers bullying her. So either get in there and fight to stop the bullying or allow her to ease the pressure off. You're continuing to keep your child enrolled in a school that collides with your belief system, which I am sure you have reasons to do so. Unfortunately, when the collisions happen, bullying the child can happen from the teacher as well if you push the against the school-sanctioned beliefs. It's not right, but it can be really detrimental for the kids. This is bizarre, and as such, hopefully untrue. If there's a public school teaching this, you are the asshole for having your child attend it. For what reason, exactly? Am I the asshole for asking my boyfriend's kids to have boundaries with my room and bathroom? My boyfriend has 2 girls ages 12 and 13. They have never had boundaries set for them, so if they want to come into his room they just open the door and come in. This past weekend his girls were over. We have a spare bathroom that connects to my daughter's room. One of the doors was locked so his girls couldn't get into the restroom so he had them use ours. When my daughter and I got home, I made sure to have her unlock it. The problem came when it was midnight and I wanted to lay down. He told his oldest daughter to take a shower in our room. Not a huge issue, just a minor inconvenience considering the restroom for them was available. The next day, his oldest daughter and I went to go get our nails done. I made sure the spare bathroom was available, woke her up and told her, "Get dressed in this restroom, while I get dressed in my room." I took some things to my bathroom and ended up bottomless with my shirt on running out of my bathroom, in my room, to get some clothes. My boyfriend said, my daughter is in the room. She was in the bed cuddling with him. I apologized and ran back to my bathroom, came back out and she immediately went into my restroom to get dressed. This same thing happened the next night as well. The spare bathroom had no one in it. I went to go to bed and his daughter was again taking a shower at midnight in my bathroom. I quietly explained that there should never be kids in our room when adults are getting dressed and there's an open restroom where she can get dressed. He said that it was locked and they need a place to get dressed. I explained that it was unlocked and I told her it was unlocked. I also mentioned that I'm uncomfortable with people just hanging out in my bedroom, but I've been accommodating towards he and them hanging out in there. But I at least need my own space and my bathroom needed to be that space, minus certain circumstances where my bathroom is the only bathroom. I also requested that his daughters knock and/or ask permission to come into our room as I expect and have my 9-year-old daughter do. He said we are parents, we don't get boundaries. So Reddit, am I the asshole here? Edit for context. My boyfriend does not live with me. He stays here most of the time and gets to see his girls at my house. We are blending the families and are in the process of getting a bigger place. My child is not a spoiled brat who is locking the door on purpose. She has autism and doesn't realize when she locks these things. I am not saying I don't want them to cuddle, nor am I jealous of his kids. WTF? He's told me, "This is my house. My rules. If I have a problem with his girls or what they're doing, tell him." I did and got a very negative response. Edit 2 I'm legit shocked by the people who think it's okay that a 13-year-old girl saw me without my panties on when she's only been in my home 4 different times and I've only been in her life for 5 months. I'm practically a stranger to her still. Not the asshole. You still get privacy as a parent. Personally, I would set these boundaries not only with Saw's child, Ren, but with Saw as well. Boundaries are healthy and necessary to maintain balanced relationships. Not the asshole. But if your boyfriend ignores this issue, he definitely will be one. Your requests are completely reasonable. Not the asshole. Parents are entitled to privacy and his daughters are old enough to know better. Info. You've only met the girls 4 times. You've only been in their lives for 5 months. Dad can only see his daughters at your place. You don't agree on basic boundaries and he gets mad when you express them, and you're blending families now. Why in the world would you do this now? So are there basically 2 ensuite bathrooms in this place? There's no shared bathroom with an independent entry? I'm just trying to understand why there are locked bathrooms. Not the asshole. My fella let his boy always sleep in his room, whereas my 2 boys know my room is my room and they need to respect that. There are only a few instances where they can come hang in my room. During the day I don't care at all as the PS4 is in my room, but when it comes to nighttime they are not allowed in. You are not the asshole at all for setting up boundaries and also teaching the girls about boundaries also. Not the asshole if parents don't set boundaries for their kids. How else are they supposed to learn them? Not the asshole. Yeah, you do get boundaries actually, and privacy too, believe it or not. Also, why are 12-13-year-old up till midnight?